Is it working? I don't know if it's working. I'm trying to see if it's working. Probably not working. Is it working? I think it's working. Okay, shows live on there. Are we good? I think we're good. Are we good? All right, we're good. We're good. All right, no intro. No intro, guys. Okay, somebody say something in the chat. Is it working? Are we good? We good? All right, it's working. Okay. When I first went live, it gave me an error. Yeah, it gave me like a weird error. And then it was just like, I don't know. That was really weird. I don't know what the hell happened there. It gave me an error, and then it went live on Twitter, but it didn't go live on YouTube. So I don't know what the hell that was all about. Gave me a little, it's good. It's a good way to start the Monday, right? Jesus. Anyways, guys, welcome to Film Junkee Live. Hopefully you guys are doing good. We got a short holiday week. Glad it's working now. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Do all that. No intro thingy or whatever. That's perfectly fine. We won't do that. But yeah, guys, we're good. Hopefully you guys are doing great. Short work week. I only got tomorrow, and then I'm off for 5 days. Cannot wait. I'm like, just let me get through tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow goes by quickly when it comes to work. Who's out there, huh? We got Ryan. What's happening, sir? Good to see you. We got King. Trademark. Hey, what's happening, King? John Carter, you still have a channel. Ratface? Jeez. It must be one of my good fans right now. That may be one of the ones that got upset this past couple of days. What's going on, Mind of Inception? Good to see you. You always love hearing the takes? Well, of course. I like giving the takes. Why not? What's going on, Axel? Good to see you, brother. Eric, Mr. Harbaugh. Well, Gunn does know how to do drama that isn't compromised by the comedy, so I don't doubt the relatively serious bits. There you go. Okay, but it's almost Mariah Carey season. You talking about her song? I thought after Halloween that song just starts playing like crazy, which I really can't stand that song. What's going on, RJ? Good to see you, buddy. Cortez, what's happening? Good to see you, too. We got Tony Chappie, D9 Neil Blomkamp fan. What's happening? We're good. All right. Music Man is here. Mr. Nobody, I like that we're getting more and more DC news. Captain America 4 doesn't look good with another reshoot, but I bet we'll see it before Blade. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see everything before Blade, apparently. So, yep. What's going on, Brendan? What's happening? Good to see you. There was 2 different YouTube streams. Weird. Okay. Is that what happened? See, I got to check that. But apparently this one's working, so that's good. I don't know, again, that was very strange what happened. So there's 2 YouTube streams. I probably got to, do something with that. Versus Seed, what's going on? DC Rise. David, keep my song's name out of your... let's see, we got Johansson right here. Do folks still believe the words that come out of James Gunn's mouth? Yes. For the most part. I know. He's a worse liar than your politicians and media and stuff like that. I know. I get it. Let me see something here. Let me just double check. Because it said that there was 2. You said there was 2 YouTube streams. Oh yeah, it did do that. Ooh, yeah. So it did. It made another stream. So I'll go ahead and delete that. Yeah, see, that's what I was worried about when it gave me that error, because that's happened before where it's like, oh, shit. But luckily, it was actually 3rd time's a charm when it was like, okay, which stream are we doing here? All right. But at least everything seems to be working. I hope, When it was like, okay, so just making sure everything's good. Sorry. Just making sure everything's good when it comes to all the streaming. Anyways, guys, hit that like, thumbs up, do all that. Yeah, they keep doing, I don't know. I haven't really been, I talked about it before about Captain America Brave New World that I didn't know is it getting another round of reshoots. I know Giancarlo said that he was going to be doing some more reshoots. I mean, it's sad because, the last trailer was cut very well. I didn't really like the poster that came out. I kind of gave a little shit to the poster because I just thought it just didn't really work that well. But yeah, it just seems like, I mean, you could do anything with a trailer. You could make anything look good in a trailer. I mean, how many movies have looked great because of the trailer, but then you get to it and it's just like, just not working. What's going on, Indiana Jake? Good to see you, buddy. But, yeah, it's kind of interesting. But, yeah, hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I had a pretty decent weekend. Didn't really do much. Just stayed home. Relax. Felt like I did something Saturday. No, I didn't do anything Saturday. Yeah, just kind of relaxed. Was lazy, watched some movies and stuff. You know what I did on Saturday? And I would recommend anybody doing this. I'd recommend anybody doing this because, and I think this is what I like about Hulu. And I think some of the other streaming services do it. But you know how sometimes you could be very indecisive about what you want to watch on a streaming service? Hulu is good with that because you could pick a movie on Hulu, and then Hulu will just start playing the next recommended movie, They'll just start doing it. You can just leave it on, and Hulu will just pick your next movie. So on Saturday, I allowed Hulu to determine what I was going to be watching. First off, I watched Alien Romulus again because it's on Hulu. It's also on Disney+. So I was like, oh, yeah, Alien Romulus is on there. So I put that on and watched that as I was doing some things. And then I decided to take like a little break, laid on the couch, and I was going through Hulu, and I was going, let me pick one of these random original movies, like, these movies that we don't hear about or anything like that. And I picked a movie called Multiverse. It's on Hulu. It's called Multiverse. It's about these young, smart kids, scientists, whatever, that are trying to, tap in the whole multiverse thing, and it's seeing if something will happen. It was interesting. It was interesting, it was an interesting take when it came to multiverse. Some bad acting, could have used a little stronger script, but, relatively not that bad. And then it just kept going, and I watched something called Something Darkly. I forgot. It was some kind of love story about a couple that was on the way out, and then they get in a car accident. It had Sienna Miller and Diego Luna in it. It's kind of heartbreaking, kind of like, that hits you in the feels. And then there was a movie called No Words in This Something. I don't know. Another movie, it was a sad movie too. It kept picking sad movies, where it was about a guy and his daughter who fantasize about being like, Vikings or whatever, and he's dying. And so so it's going back and forth between fantasy and real life and stuff. And then before that, I watched a movie called The Beta Project. I think it's called The Beta Project, which was kind of like a funny dark comedy type movie about infidelity and all this kind of stuff. I just went down this crazy little rabbit hole of just random movies that it kept picking. It was kind of fun. And I recommend if you're indecisive and you just want a streaming service to pick what you're watching, let Hulu do it at least, because I know Hulu is really good at doing that. So it was fun. Anyways, guys, sometimes you can find some gems. I enjoyed every one of those movies. They weren't crazy, but And then I forgot what the next movie was that it chose. I wasn't really into it. I think I turned it off. I turned it to something else because it was just not good. I forgot what it was, but anyways, guys, all right, let's get to the tweets right now. Are you sure it wasn't the Zeta Project? No, it was called the Beta Project. It was about you get a random letter about a secret admirer that wants to meet you, and then you have you wear a blindfold. This dude who's about to get married, who's like a talent agency guy, who's, like I said, it was kind of funny actually. Meets a girl in a hotel room. They both have blindfolds. They have no idea who the other person is. It's like a whole thing, and it's got a little twisty ending. And I was like, oh, okay, that's the ending was kind of cool. So yeah, it's called the Beta Project. It's on Hulu. Anyways, all right. Well, speaking of movies, and we got another shot from Jurassic World Rebirth. That's right, guys. Are we going to see some dinosaurs at any moment when we get some of these images? Now, just another one of Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, that's right. This time more behind the scenes. You get the slate, and apparently they're calling it Saga. That's right. So we already saw an up-close image of Scarlett Johansson in this very setting right here. But now we got another one. This one, the first one was from Empire Magazine. This one's from Vanity Fair. So, yeah, there you go. There you go. That sounds like Strange Darling. Yeah, Strange Darling. I need to see. I keep hearing good things about that. But anyway, so we got there, and then speaking of keeping on Vanity Fair first looks, we got Frankenstein. Frankenstein. This is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein right there. Of course, that's what's his nuts. Why am I drawing a blank? That is Oscar Isaac. Man, I could not remember. And then, of course, Jake Elorby. He is Frankenstein's monster. Remember, at one point, it was going to be Andrew Garfield right there. But, yeah, so Dr. Frankenstein, of course, Oscar Isaac. And this looks like a really beautiful and creepy shot, even though it's a behind the scenes, because you can see, like, the camera rig right there, the arm right there. But you can already tell. I mean, it's a Guillermo del Toro. It's a Guillermo, so it's like, it's going to look beautiful. So, yeah, so there's a first look at that. Yeah, I'll watch Strange Darling as soon as I can find it on there, rent it, whatever. I'm going to watch that because I keep hearing good things about it. And then guess what? Guys? If anybody didn't see Superman, the Christopher Reeve story in the movie theater, I almost did, but I decided not to. I saw something else. I was very close on seeing it in the movie theater, but I thought, you know what? When it comes to a documentary, it's just, I don't know. To me, watching a documentary in the movie theater, not the same as just watching it at home. There's something about just watching a documentary more at home and then on the big screen, even though I have seen documentaries on the big screen, but I didn't see it, but we're going to be able to watch Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. It's going to be streaming on Max December 7th. So, looking forward to that. And I'm sure maybe it'll be one of those that if I'm at my mom's or something like that, we'll watch that too. Award-winning. Remember, it's award-winning. It won a bunch of awards. It definitely did, so. And then this is a cool Godzilla poster right here that was made, a fan-made poster showing Godzilla, of course, making the G, and then, of course, the buildings that spell out Godzilla. And that's for 2014. Obviously, you can see right there, so. Sneezing. Jeez. I tried to hit mute, but it didn't happen. So if you're wearing headphones, I apologize if that just made your ears hurt. I apologize. Jeez. It's an amazing, see, you saw it right there. Thank you, Droga. Appreciate that. Man, that sneeze, I was like, oh shit, there it is, and I didn't hit it. So sorry if I blew anybody's eardrums out. Sorry for that. But we're good. Let's see. What else we got? All right, so like when it came to the Popeye horror movie, obviously the trailer came out and everything, and I called him Popeye the Impaler Man because I was like, okay, what rhymes with sailor? Well, what about impaler? Because he's going to be impaling people, so I thought, why not do that? And here's the poster right here, and then of course the trailer came out. I did watch the trailer. It looks absolutely ridiculous, but I understand why these movies exist because they are made for cheap. They are ridiculous. People flock to them. People love them. They turn into cult classics like instantly, and they make a profit in the first fucking weekend that it comes out. But instead of Popeye the Impaler Man, it's Popeye the Slayer Man. Of course, it was right there. Didn't even think about it. But I went for Impaler, not Slayer. It's right there. It was right there. I was like, oh yeah, Slayer. That makes sense. I don't know. Impaler to me, Impaler, Sailor, as opposed to Slayer. I don't know. To me, I thought Impaler rhymes a little better. I don't know. What's going on for you, Jason? Blood and spinach. I know. And there's like a whole thing in the trailer where like apparently like there was like a recall on bad spinach, and I think that's part of the reason why he's like a fucking like creature weirdo thingy, it's like it's all because of bad spinach, and he's like, you see him eat some spinach too. Ugh, looks horrible. But you know what doesn't look horrible? Andor season 2 doesn't look horrible. We got some stills for Andor season 2. Looking pretty good, looking pretty sharp. The cinematography is going to be looking great, as it does. We got some returning characters, of course. And we got to remember that it is hitting Disney Plus on April 22nd. So April 21st, guys, that's when I'm going to reactivate my Disney Plus. I think maybe I'll reactivate it sooner. Like I said, you got to balance out the streaming services when it comes to paying for stuff, you know? After Acolyte, I turned off my Disney Plus. I felt like I didn't need it. Definitely didn't feel like I needed it, so yeah, we got to make a note of that too. We'll talk about that when it comes to the DC stuff. Let's see what else we got here. I thought this was cool right here. So Halloween fans, if you're a fan of the Halloween franchise, well, I don't know. I mean, and if you know anybody who's a fan of a Halloween franchise, you're going to have to try to find where this is right here, because if you have a family member or even if you are a diehard Halloween fan and you have physical copies of all of the Halloween movies, well, somebody made a little holder that you would actually love. Look at this right here. You can put your DVDs right in there. The house, you got everything. You got Michael Myers right there in the window. This is awesome. And now I'm not sure, this is just, somebody just posted it and I thought it was really cool. But I'm just kind of going like, is this on Etsy? Is it on Amazon? Is somebody selling this thing? Because they should. But it's just such a really cool thing, man. So, and of course you got all the Halloween movies right there. That's just freaking awesome right there. I love when people are creative like that. But somebody like Living Dead Girl, they posted it. She just put like, I need it for my collection. I don't see anybody. Let's see. So yeah, I think it's just somebody just made it, custom made. But I'm sure you could probably find some kind of version out there. But it's just really cool when you see stuff like that. It's really cool when you see stuff like that. Okay, so all right, so okay, diehard Snyder fans. Again, we're done talking about the whole animation thing because Jay Oliva he poo-pooed that. He poo-pooed the whole animating, Zack Snyder's Justice League, or at least Batfleck, he poo-pooed that, okay? We could take that off the table because I know I offend people when I bring up the whole animation thing, and of course we hear the battle cries of live action or nothing at all. And I'm here, like I said, I'm like, okay, Jay Oliva said the reasons why it wouldn't happen, so no longer have to do that right here. But something was in my For You page that I saw, and this is for Hunnam Will It Be. Of course, we remember Charlie Hunnam Will It Be, Charlie Hunnam Will It Be. But at Hunnam Will It Be made this trailer right here, or helped make this trailer, and I have to keep it muted. It's using the Hallelujah song, but I got to do it for copyright purposes. But check this out. So he made this right here. So you can hear there's the song right there, of course. So he's using the Hallelujah. But look at some of these visuals right here. It's really cool stuff. So we got a bunch of, we got Amazonians just getting effed up right there. Big time. Big time. And of course we got the Rogues Gallery. There was Bane right there. We got people in the Rogues Gallery. They're just showing up. It looked like Brainiac over there. We got the Riddler. We got the Riddler right there, losing his mind. And, of course, he has the Omega symbol in his eye right there. And then, of course, kills himself. Offs himself. And then he even brought in the Jared Leto Joker Batman costume, which is pretty great. And then, of course, more people possessed. More people turning into parademons right here. And then, of course, we got some dark side and everything. Like I said, it's cool little art right here. And then, of course, you got more people that get possessed. Some really cool shots of like Metropolis, Gotham City. And then, of course, the Lois being pregnant. We got Green Lantern. And then, of course, what's his name? That's showing up. And then he's turning into evil. And then we got Evil Superman. And then, of course, we got more of like the Nightmare-esque blood shots even there. Blood sport, not bloodshot, but blood sport. And then, of course, we got even Jared Leto's Joker dying on the cross. We got Cyborg split in two. You got the Question right there, looking at a war chakra. I mean, it's just, there's so many things, Constantine, so many characters that get introduced into this trailer. So many characters that are being put into this trailer right here, which is pretty cool. They didn't hold back with anyone right here. That's a Green Lantern Corps right there. Hawkeye. I'm guessing that's Mr. Lord, that she's holding his head up right there. So just a lot of really cool stuff right here. Then, of course, it ends with teasing Supergirl right there. Not even showing her face, but teasing Supergirl. Just cool stuff. Just cool stuff. Cool animation right there. Cool work. Awesome work right there. Just referencing. That's how the Snyderverse continues. Okay? That's how it continues as of right now, is fans taking it upon themselves to create art. And I love that. But of course, naturally, I didn't get much pushback with this, thankfully. I had one person at least. There was a couple other people that were saying something. One person was like, I know what you're doing. I could see through your bullshit. I'm like, Jay Oliva, I get it. Squash the whole thing. Let it go, guys. I get it. Animation offends you, but somebody created this within the fandom. So I just wanted to put it out there and say, this is awesome. It's okay. I get it. It's not going to affect what you're fighting for. Okay, I get it. Just thought that was really cool. Good work. And then people were kind of wondering about this too. Because, when it came to the Caped Crusader, some people were going like, well, does a Superman actually live in this world? Because there's like a character in one of the episodes of Caped Crusader that might have been like a Lois Lane, that looked like a Lois Lane. And so a lot of people were like, well, if they were going to have Superman show up, or they were going to expand on this world that takes place, back then, where we got the first look of, a different kind of Batman, old school first kind of Batman. And then, of course, somebody made this right here, Watchtower Database, added Superman in there, that it's more like the Fleischer type of costume right there. The Fleischer costume, not Fleischer, Fleischer costume right there with the black symbol and everything. Again, art that's really cool. Like when people make art. People making art is cool. Hey, Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill's got a, we haven't, when it comes to Henry Cavill, his filmography is just loaded up for future projects, loaded up. And I didn't even know about this. I think I remember hearing something about this, and I wasn't quite sure, but apparently now it looks like it might be confirmed by IMDb, but you never know. IMDb can be a little wonky at times. Henry Cavill IMDb page added Broadsword on his upcoming list. Filming is expected to begin in July 7th, 2025. So next summer in UK and France. The film also stars Tom Cruise, directed by Christopher McQuarrie. That's right. What? A Marine sergeant crash lands in World War II France. The only survivor of his mission, he teams up with a brave local girl as they journey across a dangerous landscape, dodging enemies and blah, 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 blah. So that sounds awesome. All right. So we got a little reunion, a little Mission Impossible Fallout reunion happening right there. Okay. I'm all right. With that. Broadsword. Almost sounds like, yeah, it's Brosword, bro. Ooh. Gravity. So who's excited for Kraven the Hunter? Huh? I think we are, right? Kind of. There's something about it where you kind of go, okay, this seems different from the other movies from the Sony Spider-Man universe. I guess they call it the SSU, the Sony Spider-Man universe. That's what it's kind of been referring to. A lot of people have been saying that online. But we got the director of Kraven right here, J.C. Chandor. Well, this is what he had to say. And he knows. Because comicbook.com reported that he has said hopes that the film may wash away some of the negative reactions to the Sony universe of Marvel characters. So I guess the SUMC. Give our film a chance. I will, JC. I will. I'll give it a chance. Your film does look a little more unique than the other one, okay? It's good. You got Russell Crowe in there as well. I mean, I like Aaron Taylor Johnson, and his fucking 14-pack that he's got. But, the fact that it's R-rated and there's been the R-rated trailers and we see him just effing dudes up, sure, I'm all about it. It probably will be better than the previous stuff that we've seen. Maybe not the first Venom. I don't know. The first Venom I really liked. Second Venom I didn't like. There's moments of it. The third Venom was fine. Madam Web, Morbius, but hopefully we'll be all right. But it's R-rated, at least. So you don't have to hold back when it comes to violence. And I think that's what's going to help it. That's what's going to help it out right there. That's my guess. And I guess I'll talk about this. Okay. So this is where I did ruffle some feathers. Yeah, this is where I definitely ruffled some feathers right here. So James Gunn posted on, I think, Threads or whatever the hell social media is on right here, and it was like kind of one of those things where I saw it, I went, oh, okay, hey, that's cool. He posted that right there. And, and then I went, okay, let me post this, and, it'd be kind of cool to post it on Twitter to be like, see what everybody's reaction would be to this very question. And this is what he posted right here. He was in Savannah, Georgia, and he says, I always love to visit local comic shops when I'm in a new town, Odin and Sons in Savannah, Georgia. So I posted, if you saw James Gunn in your local comic shop, would you walk up to him? And naturally, I was like, okay, it'd be cool to gauge everybody's reactions. For the most part, a lot of positive reactions. The tweet took off a little bit, a lot of likes, a lot of whatever. But then I was kind of going like, shit, this is going to reach that side of the fandom, huh? And sure enough, it did. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But if you saw James Gunn, if you were just shopping around your comic shop and you saw James Gunn, would you actually walk up to him? And I thought about it myself, too, because I'm like, would I actually walk up to him? But I'm like, I'm always one of those where I don't want to bother. I mean, people walk up to these celebrities. I never want to be a bother. But at the same time, it's like, something brief. Maybe I would walk up and be like, hey, man, I was wondering if I could see your phone and you could show me the Superman trailer. Maybe I would say something like that. I don't know, break the ice. Maybe shake his hand. I don't know if I'd do a picture. I'm not really a selfie guy when it comes to all that. Maybe I would. I don't know. But, maybe a little conversation, a little back and forth. But I wouldn't want to bother him. I would just kind of be like, yeah, whatever. Like I said, most of the... we got a lot of responses that were just kind of like going like, yeah, I would walk up to him, say, I like Guardians, I'm a fan, I'm this, show me the trailer, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah. So I think some people would just be like, yeah, why not? Just take a picture, do a snapshot, shake his hand maybe, and, maybe joke around with him a little bit. But then, of course, yes, it reached that lovely side of the fandom. And, man, I tell you what, it's just funny reading all the responses. There was a lot more responses today than yesterday. Sometimes it gets delayed when it reaches there. Although yesterday, of course, there's a lot of these guys that, when they're online, they like to just puff up their chests and like, oh, yeah, I'd walk up to him. I call him the P word, the P word, the PDF, what we're talking about. I'd call him that. It's like, no, you wouldn't. You would not call him that. Come on, shut up. I love it when people just like behind their keyboards and everything like that talk a big game, but no, they're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. You're not going to walk up and tell somebody that to their face. There was people that said like, there was one guy that actually said, I would tell him to get out. And I'm like, you would tell somebody to get out of a comic shop that you don't own? No, you wouldn't. It's like, it was just a lot of just like, what the It was pretty funny. I had somebody yesterday that was losing his mind because obviously he just hates James Gunn to his very core. Said he, of course, would call him the P word and everything like that. Dude was losing his mind, throwing a bitch fit like crazy. And it was just funny because I was just responding and going, wow. It was just crazy. I mean, he was writing full-on paragraphs, capital letters, quotes that were like coming from me essentially, that he was pretending that I was quoting. Just kind of crazy. And I'm just like going, what is real life like, man? What is real life like? That is absolutely insane. But it's just so crazy how much those guys hate this man that much, and they really want him to turn out to be like this really evil person. And of course that stuff got sent too, and I get it, like the jokes and everything that the costume party thing was a weird thing and everything like that, but that's all been kind of cleared up. And I'm just kind of going like, okay, what's been happening in the last decade? Has there been anything? You guys are just totally holding on to that. I'm like waiting, I'm one of those that innocent until proven guilty kind of thing. And I think these guys really want him. He's guilty until proven innocent, naturally. And I'm just kind of going like, man, there are actual predators out there and you're just focusing on this because of cape shit. That is very fucking odd. And it was pretty entertaining. It was definitely entertaining. All because because he went to a comic book shop. And then, of course, they were saying stuff like, oh, yeah, he looks all fake and staged. I'm like, yes, of course it was. He's holding a book. I mean, if you saw the picture, he's holding a book that has, like, the Superman doc, like, on the back cover. So naturally, he was going to pick something. Yes, he's posing for a picture. He's posing for a picture. But I like the fact that he's trying to be like, hey, support local comic book shops. That's a good thing, right? Isn't that a good thing? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, man, some of these guys, I'm just like going, oh my God. They just lose their minds. And of course it did. They did lose their minds. I think the real freakier ones are like the ones that have Zack Snyder as their profile poster or profile picture. When those guys like that, when they hide behind that, I'm just like, man, do you guys realize what you're doing to the image of that man? Because you're using, like, you're so obsessed with this man that you're using his picture as a profile, as your profile, and then going around and just getting upset with anybody who's looking forward to the DCU and everything like that. It's just like, oh man. Sad where things are, but what did I say, guys? The further we get away from the Snyder Cut, the crazier these guys will get. But what can you do? Uplifting, yes. Zack wouldn't like. Oh yeah, I know. They're fighting for Zack. They know what's good for Zack. They do. Oh, they do. They always accuse me like I say, oh, you think you know what's good for Zack? No, I just want him to do his thing. You guys want him to make 2 big giant Justice League movies. You know what's good for Zack, not me. Not me. I don't know what's good for Zack, apparently. You guys know what's good for Zack. You know, that's all. You know, I'll let you guys determine what's good for him, man. You know, don't look at me. But let's just relax a little bit, man. You know, stop. You know, I'm sure these guys damage their keyboards sometimes when they get so upset with things. I'm like, whew. You know, but again, you know, the whole jokes of that, fine. But man, when I started like pushing back and asking questions, they hate that. They absolutely hate that. And then I find it funny. And I know I shouldn't be doing that too much, but sometimes I get bored, guys. I get bored. Anyways, moving along, we have a new kind of sexy little poster right here, an IMAX poster for Nosferatu. Did you guys see this? Experience the terror in IMAX. Nosferatu, succumb to the darkness. And you got, you know, some long fingers, long fingernails. You got Lily Rose Depp right there. And yeah. Oh boy, succumb to the darkness. I'll be succumbing for sure. Anyways, yeah, that's just that's quite a poster right there. And apparently, according to some of the internet reactions I've read, yeah, it's a pretty it's got some naughtiness in it. So, kind of interesting and all that. I know, I'm manipulating. I know, I manipulate manipulation. That's what's also funny too versus see it. It's like, you know, you start pushing back on it, you start talking about it. They hate it when that happens too. And I'm like, good Lord. All right, guys, we're okay. We're okay. Gladiator 2 almost had a different star in it. It wasn't going to be Paul Mescal. That's right. That was going to be playing I forget the character's name. I swear sometimes when it comes to these certain names, I just go something Schiss, right? Something Schiss. But it was almost Timothee Chalamet. That's right. According to Ridley Scott, Timothee Chalamet was considered to play Lucius. Duh, it said it right there. My God. In Gladiator 2 before, Ridley Scott watched Normal People. I am so happy that it wasn't Timothee Chalamet. My God, does he have to be on the short list for everything? Does Timothee Chalamet give you any kind of feel of a gladiator? The dude weighs 97 pounds. I mean, of course, yeah, they bulk him up a little bit, but I'm like, really? Timothee Chalamet? He's great as Paul Atreides. Great. Absolutely fantastic. Okay? And he kicked ass, especially in Dune Part 2. Can't wait to see more from all that. But to play a gladiator type? No. That wouldn't have worked. Okay? And I know some people thought Paul Mescal was miscast. I thought he did fine. I thought he did great, actually. I thought he carried it. I was kind of worried that he wasn't because I never really seen him in anything. But I still seen a lot of people that are saying that he was miscast. I'm like, nah, could have been way worse. I don't think Timothee Chalamet could have pulled it off. So I'm happy about that. Definitely happy about that. All right, what else we got here? Anything? Oh, well, speaking of Nosferatu, Not only is it going, if you're going to succumb to the darkness, as the IMAX poster said, that sounds a little naughty right here, but yeah, they ain't holding back when it comes to a popcorn bucket. Nope. Even Nosferatu is getting a popcorn bucket. That's right. Look at that. That's a big popcorn bucket, it seems. It's like a chest or a coffin, whatever the hell. Pretty much, yeah, coffin type. That seems pretty big right there. How much is that thing going to be? Holy Lord. That's a big popcorn bucket. Hey, if anybody wants to give me one, by all means. By all means. And then check it out. The Boys Season 5 production is about to start, guys, for the final season of The Boys. Eric Kripke right here, One Last Ride, Day 1, final season. There's the title of Episode 1, 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite. You had to title it like that, 15 Inches of Sheer Dynamite. Okay, so who's getting dynamite shoved up their ass? Who's getting it? Somebody's getting dynamite shoved up their ass. That's what I'm getting from that. And are we going to see it being inserted? Possibly. 15. So it's going to be dynamite that's 15 inches. It's going to get shoved up someone's ass. Or someone's going to fall on it. It's going up someone's ass. That's all I could. That's pretty much what's going to be happening with that, right? Oh, man. I could only imagine. I could just imagine it's going to make you groan. It's going to make you groan. Guess what Ryan Reynolds is going to be producing next? Well, if you're not seeing Twitter and everything like that, you probably won't guess because, well, it's kind of random. But, you know, I'm sure it's going to be fine. We'll see what happens. Mighty Mouse. That's right. Ryan Reynolds is going to be producing Mighty Mouse, as you see is right here, according to Variety. Ryan Reynolds' maximum effort, Free Guy writer Matt Lieberman team with Paramount Animation for Mighty Mouse exclusive. Kind of interesting. So, I mean, I don't know how much of hands-on Ryan Reynolds will be, but then I started going, is he going to end up voicing Mighty Mouse? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's just going to be the production company and that's it. Could just be that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then mustn't we forget that Henry Cavill is going to be in the live-action Voltron movie, and that is kicking in the gear pretty well right here because now we got Sterling K. Brown, Rita Ora, and John Kim are joining him in that live-action Voltron movie that's going to be coming to Amazon MGM. So that thing is kicking into gear. I'm like, I wasn't really into Voltron. Isn't there supposed to be kids? I mean, I'm sure they're going to cast kids. But, you know, I guess we'll wait. And I mean, I'm sure they're going to cast, like, unknowns and stuff like that. But, hey, you know, at least that shit's going on. Then we have more of Batman from Blood Snow, or, you know, the Batman project I've told you guys about. It's Batman Blood and Snow, I think. Yeah, Blood Snow, I guess right here. So they added more to it. This looks pretty cool. I love this animation style. Not holding back with the blood. Hell yeah. Ooh. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, Julian Cherry, who is directing that, just posted that clip earlier today, and I thought, wow, definitely cool. Definitely cool. You know what else is cool? We got David Ayer. David Ayer is working on something, and it's kind of interesting. I don't think we actually know fully what his next movie is, or am I wrong? Did we get a description on what his next movie is? Maybe we did, and I just am forgetting right now. I don't know. But David Ayer posted this right here of some kind of soldier or some kind of, I don't know, somebody who's wearing, you know, a very interesting mask. Helmet thing, full on. You know, you got the tubes on the side for breathing mechanism. You got one little eye thing right there. I don't know. This looks just really bonkers and batshit. And I love the guy in the background who is like not all about it. Looks like he's having himself a day. Looks like he's tired. He's holding probably some kind of diet soda, needing some caffeine and some artificial sweeteners. And he's just looking like, duh, you know. He's like, I don't want to be here right now, but this looks pretty cool. But yeah, I'm like, is there something like when it comes to David Ayer and his next movie? I don't know, but he posted that. And then Christopher Nolan's next movie, we still don't know what it is. And I love that, even though I'm like going, God damn it, can we finally get the goddamn synopsis and what the hell this movie's going to be about? But instead, they just keep on going, well, now we got another cast member who's going to be joining. Like I said, we just got Robert Pattinson. That was the last guy that was going to be the last actor that was joining Christopher Nolan's movie right there. We're not sure how big his role is going to be or anybody's role. But now we got Charlize Theron. That's right. So Charlize Theron has now been cast in the movie as well. It's not going to be the helicopter movie. It's not going to be the vampire movie. Apparently, it's just not going to be any of that. And it's just like, okay, the cast is stellar. The cast is absolutely stellar. The cast is stellar. That's pretty much what I'm taking away from it, for sure. Hey, we got some art from Axel Droga right here. If he's still in there, he posted this right here. He's designing some pieces for an upcoming little thing that he's working on, and he's got Willie. Is it Wiley? Is it Wiley Cutter right here? Who's an ally to Cluemaster, and apparently he based off the design a little on me right there, huh? So a little bit of me into that drawing right there. So that's pretty cool. I should get one of those tinted little things right here for one of my eyes, and I can look really cool. You know, why not? So looks pretty cool. So good job, Axel. Good job, Axel, with the art. Good job, Axel, with the art. Thank you, sir. All right. All right, let's go ahead and start with the main topics here. All right, let's see. Let's go down the. Let's talk about the DCU news. DCU news. Like I said, it's been it's going to be a slow week this week. I'm actually, I'm playing it by ear. Might not have a stream on Wednesday. It's Thanksgiving Eve. Like I said, I'm going to be off that day. We're going to still do a DC Fanimated, but if there's not really news to talk about, probably not going to have a stream on Wednesday. Take a little break from that on a Wednesday. So just warning you right there. So first off, the first thing I wanted to talk about was something good. Something I think we can all get around when it comes to at least Jimmy Gunn's. Because the way, especially in my mentions, the way it's been a little crazy with some diehard Snyder fans when it came to my tweets, who were just saying some of the most ridiculous and horrible things. But hey, it's whatever. But one of the things, where is it at? I got to find it here, that he posted about that it's for a good cause. Okay, we have a couple of things here. Okay. So he posted this right here. It's for a good cause. Apparently they did a bidding. They did a bidding for Superman premiere that's going to be happening, of course, in July, sometime in July next year, and after party. So they put 2 tickets out there for people to bid on, and it was going to be for supporting. The proceeds were going to be going to wounded veterans, which is good because the veterans, sometimes they get neglected in this country for stupid reasons and whatever. So Gunn posted this right here, the final bidding listing, $20,000. Over $20,000, $20,100 right there, as somebody posted. Home for our troops, benefit charity right there. So good, that's great. $20,000 on 2 tickets. That's not too shabby right there. And I hope this is not the last time, and I'm sure it's not going to be the last time, that they'll be doing things like when it comes to charity, when it comes to Superman or the DCU or something like that. Hopefully not. So good on all that. Like that they're doing that kind of stuff, and I think we can all pretty appreciate that. That's really cool that somebody bid for that, because it's just 2 tickets to go to go to the premiere with the actors and everybody, sure, and see all the glitz and glamour and everything like that, and then the after party to of course probably take pictures with them. But that's a lot. So, but it's going for a good cause, and you got to love that. You definitely got to love that. And then one of the things too that was posted a couple of days ago when it comes to what's happening in the DCU. We got Paradise Lost. Somebody asked Mr. Jimmy Guns on what's going on with Paradise Lost. And there's a screenshot right there. Very active development. Very active development. Might have talked about this on the Vodka stream. I can't remember because guess what? I drink on that. And sometimes I forget things. It happens. But going to be interesting because talking about it, somebody actually asked in my mentions when I posted it, do we think that Diana is going to be a part of it? I think she's going to be a part of it. Maybe not at first. It's going to be exclusively about, obviously, Themyscira and the Amazonians and probably just how all that works. I still think that it's a pretty good idea for a series, and I think it's going to be one of those series that everybody's going to be watching weekly in anticipation, kind of like how the Penguin series, kind of mainly like how the Game of Thrones series have been, because if we're going to take like the Game of Thrones kind of style and kind of, series, the way that series is, and putting it on Themyscira, going to be interesting. But yeah, the question is, will Diana be a part of it? I mean, it's sounding like, at first it wasn't sounding like she's going to be a part of it. It's going to be before she's born. And maybe like the last episode, she's born. Like Diana's born. But then again, we know like sometimes, Mr. Jimmy Guns likes to shoot from his hip a little too quickly, because he's already said stuff's not canon. That's now canon. Let's face it, the announcement of the DCU slate, it was a little bit ago. So things are, of course, changing. So maybe there's a possibility that things could be changing when it comes to this. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of Diana in there, but maybe not like a whole lot. Maybe a young girl. I don't know. Could be something. I don't know. We'll see. Please do the Clay Origin. I'd love to see them do that version. The Clay Origin. I'll have to check that out. Sounds cool. But yeah, it's going to be a couple years away. Probably not till 2027 or so. But it's in very active development. I'm willing to bet that it'll probably go into production next year, maybe end of next year. If not, definitely 2026. So yeah, 2027 most likely will be when that. Unless it's in such active development that it's just like, well, it's going to just be like pushed forth. And that's the thing too, is like there's some things that let's see, James Gunn did say this, which was very interesting too, that somebody asked this right here, when it comes to future projects that are greenlit or not so greenlit, kind of greenlit or whatever the hell, do you think that within the next 2 months or so we'll hear official announcements for the greenlit or near greenlit unannounced projects you tease in the Creature Commandos interviews? Yes. So they already have that. He also did mention too that there's when he was answering questions and all that stuff, he also, somebody asked, do we already have castings for certain characters that haven't been announced yet? He also said yes to that. So basically after Creature Commandos going into 2025, we're going to be hearing about more castings and then of course more projects. Again, this is supposed to be part 1 of chapter 1 of the DCU, which again, they announced it so freaking early, and it's just, I mean, the beginning of 2023 was announced while there was still the DCEU stuff that was starting to wrap up. It was kind of just like, okay, I understand why you're doing this, but at the same time, now that things are now really kicking into gear, things are just like, oh wait, yeah, we heard about this like that. Okay, cool. But so we're going to be hearing way more stuff when it comes to 2025 for sure. And then one of the things that was also talked about, now we're kind of wondering right here, is Jimmy Guns throwing a little shade over at Marvel Studios? Huh? And Feige? Possibly, maybe. There's a possibility right here. Some people are looking into it as he was throwing a little shade. Probably wasn't throwing shade really at all, but somebody asked this right here, and people are kind of wondering. Will you ever do a release schedule like Feige for MCU, or will you just say another movie is in development when it starts? It won't be exactly like Marvel, because nothing is greenlit before we have a finished script. Except in the beginning of 2023 when you announced a whole slate and you didn't have completed scripts. Again, it's like one of those things where I understand it because Warner Brothers, and they just needed like, hey, we need to put you in front of a camera and whatever you got, put it out there. And so he was like, all right, I'll put it out there. But now it's like, oh shit. Now it's like, well, now he's saying the whole thing of like, until we have a script, not going to be fully greenlit, which means like Batman Brave and the Bold, not exactly greenlit. Very active development for Paradise Lost. They don't exactly have certain scripts, which is kind of funny. But again, That's what happens when you have a studio that's in shambles and didn't know exactly what the hell they were doing. So they were just like, do it, put it out there. I mean, it was like almost, it's crazy how it was like almost 2 years ago that whole thing was announced. But it doesn't sound like they're ever going to be doing that again. But then some people are like, there's he throwing shade at the Marvel way. And I'm like, I don't know if exactly he's throwing shade at the Marvel way. I don't think he's really doing that. Maybe he is a little bit. Who knows? Things I've heard that maybe him and Kevin Feige didn't always get along. But hey, well, that's just, take that with a grain of salt. It's just something that maybe it's there. But I'm sure they respect each other. But that just shows you right there that it's like, okay, don't, the announcement of all that stuff. So announcing movies isn't the same as greenlighting them, though. True, that's very true. Because how many times does the MCU, they have announced movies? I mean, for fuck's sake, they announced that Blade movie back in 2019, and that still can't even be a thing. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I get why they do it. I get why, the MCU, like Kevin Feige does the whole thing, and they announce their slates and they put it out there to build up. You have to build up the hype, and it always changes, and then things get scrapped, things get rearranged. It's always pretty crazy. I mean, no matter what, I always like the fact that it's like, okay, until we have a good script, not greenlit. I like that way, and I'll always appreciate that he is saying that. So, and then of course, when it comes to Peacemaker Season 2, it has wrapped. As Jimmy Gunn's posted this today. And that's a wrap on Peacemaker Season 2, including our last remaining actors, Steve Agee, Tim Meadows, Saul Rodriguez, and Brandon Stanley. And our DP, Sam McCurdy, pictured here, moments after the last shot. Remember, McCurdy, beautiful cinematography for Shogun right there. So this was a really good get for DC Studios and James Gunn. Thanks to our entire cast and crew who made this wonderful experience. My relief to have a break from shooting after 10 months straight is countered by how much I'll miss all of you. 10 months straight, dude. The guy is working like fucking crazy. It's probably why he's not going to CCXP. That's probably the main reason. Would not be surprised if Jimmy Gunn's is going to take a couple of weeks off for the holidays, for sure. Do a little relaxation, because the dude's been working like crazy 10 months straight. From Superman, Peacemaker, all the things. Probably a nice long break that he's going to have right there, for sure. And then speaking of that, too, there was something that was also mentioned when it comes to Peacemaker and what's happening in the DCU. Apparently, Rick Flag Sr., with the way the universe is right now, he is actually the head of Argus. That's right. So that was also mentioned. In interviews, the Collider actually posted that, so there is that as well, which I think a lot of us kind of were like, yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. All right, now let's get to, where's it at? I can't find it. Where's the video? I had it up. And let's see, James Gunn, you're bullish on the script. Okay. And, of course, we talked about it on the Vox stream about Sergeant Rock, which I'm like, I don't know who Sergeant Rock is, really. Never really read a book or anything like that about Sergeant Rock, but Variety did post that James Gunn is through the moon about that script. And the thing that I brought up on the Vox stream when we were talking about it is I think like the benefit that DC Studios definitely can have is if you do like low-budget characters that nobody really knows and nobody's really going to know that it's a DC movie. Because let's face it, guys, some people, and I was just listening to a podcast today where people were going like, everything's fucking Marvel and DC. So if you do like some of these, no-name characters, like something like a Sergeant Rock, which could be like a small $20 million crazy war movie that's like 90 minutes long, could benefit them. And nobody's going to know it's a DC movie until they actually see the logo in front of like the trailer, or if they just go see the movie, they see the logo. Could benefit because if it's good and it's great and it draws an audience without emphasizing that it's a DC character and it just draws an audience because it looks insane, could benefit. So we'll see if that happens. All right, now let's get to the main thing we're talking about here, which is this interview So we got this interview with James Gunn right here, and it's, it's nothing, it's just a clip right here that they're talking about when it comes to Superman, when it comes to the DCU, and of course just James Gunn just giving some more details and, some of the tone when it comes to DCU. So here we go.
I know that you have other live action shows coming as well. Is that going to kind of be the level you want to have them on, or are you going to do different stuff there as well?
Everything's going to be totally different. One of the things I love about DC Comics is that they've always been able to tell different stories in different ways. They've told stories that were more family-oriented, stories that were more adult-oriented, dark stories, light stories. And I think for us, we just want to tell a bunch of different stories. A lot of those different stories are going to be in the DCU. So we have, something that's relatively serious like Superman, and then something that's relatively comedic like Peacemaker, all in the same universe, something very adult like Peacemaker, something very family, pretty family friendly like Superman. But it's, I think that to be able to tell different types of stories is kind of what makes things fun. And one of the things that I've gotten a little sick of is all these stories being relatively the same, and I'm trying to step outside of that. We at DC are trying to step outside of that.
What? Relatively serious? Not what I was hearing. No, he's saying it's relatively serious. Of course, there's going to be jokes. There's going to be some lighthearted humor. But I also love the fact that it's like, okay, so it's also going to be just relatively serious, but also family friendly. Superman film that's family friendly. I don't know if I can accept that. No, I can. I think we could kind of tell that it's going to be family friendly, but also relatively serious. There's going to be some serious things in there. But of course, you do have, you do have a dog. You do have a dog in there that, that is also going to be doing some things too. But that's going to be the family aspect of it, I guess you could say. The family part's going to be the fact that it's like, hey, yeah, there's going to be, you're going to be able to take your kids to go see it, but at the same time, it's not going to just be all just humor, and just not, I'm sure there's going to be things, are all jokes going to work? Probably not, but I like what you had to say right there. And then, of course, talking about the different tones for all the different other stuff like that. And as long as, like, the crew and everybody are like, they're like, hey, is this script good? Is this script good? Are we good? And everything like that. Then I think we're all going to be fine when it comes to this DCU right there. So it's good. I think it's going to be fine. And then, of course, talking about like that and talking about this and talking about that. So, but yeah, that's basically it when it comes to DCU news and what's been happening, what James Gunn's been talking about. Oh, man, December 5th. We're like coming up to Creature Commandos right there. It's still crazy that Creature Commandos, technically the official start of all this, is a R-rated series on Max. It's pretty crazy. There is a rumor out there too. I don't know if you guys saw it. Speaking of like Warner Brothers and them not having money, there is a rumor out there that the Authority, somebody said it out there. I've heard it more than once from more than one, I guess you could say, people that are like scoopers or whatever the fuck, that the Authority actually might be restructured into an animated feature as opposed to having it live action, which I kind of went like, well, that sucks because, why have that? Why even announce that? Again, why announce it and then all of a sudden turn it into something else? But again, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, almost 2 years ago. But I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. It's the Authority, and if like not many people know the Authority, then fine. And depending on how expensive it would be, I guess you could reimagine it into an animation. But I'm just kind of going like, all right, well, we haven't gotten anything official. I wouldn't hate it because I don't really know the characters all that well, so I wouldn't really hate it. But then I'm just kind of going like, yeah, but it just seems like live action is the way to go when it comes to something like that, to show something fresh and different in a way. And I'm like, okay, but I don't blame them if they end up doing full on animation. I don't blame them because, like I said, that studio don't have the money. I mean, even if Superman does fairly well, they're still not going to have the money. So it's all about money, folks. All about money. All about the money. Anyways, Said he wanted CC to be animated from the jump. Yeah, that makes sense. We'll see. The Authority is probably still a few years away. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, it was just like a rumor out there. I remember seeing that. I just thought I'd bring it up. Who knows if it's going to happen or not? You know, got to take everything from with a grain of salt. God, man. It's just, being a DC fan, it's kind of rough. I mean, remember when, Kevin Smith and, guy with the ball cap, and when they were planning out a whole, slate, and they did that whole thing of like showing us what was coming. They showed concept art, and they did all that, that was going to be all based off of, coming off of Batman versus Superman, what Snyder was setting the building blocks on. And I still see people posting that slate. I'm like, yeah, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing then either. It just didn't. They didn't. Zack was just like, hey, I'm going to tell this story. You guys do whatever. I'll help with whatever. And then I'm out. They could have just left it be, but they didn't. All right. So I haven't watched the Sonic trailer. And there was another little teaser that came out as well, which was the Lilo and Stitch little teaser, which I was like, all right, cool. There he is. I think I watched that movie once, Lilo and Stitch, never really got into it. I'm like, he looks adorable. He's doing like his thing. And I guess, people are doing a side-by-side when it comes to that. So you had the teaser for Lilo and Stitch, but I have yet to watch the Sonic trailer. So I figured I'll save it for it because, like I said, it was a fairly slow news day right here. So here we go. Haven't watched it yet. Let's see what happens here.
Here we go. Showtime.
What is this den of madness?
Are you Detective Pikachu?
It does look like a Pokemon. Pika Pika.
Pikachu reference?
What?
Wow.
Get down.
Okay.
It's time, Shadow. Finally, we will have our revenge. But what good is a dastardly plot if you can't conspire with family?
There's 2 Eggmen now?
Double your villains, double your fun. Any last words?
Nice magic.
I mean, double Jim
marble,
Carrey. I'm all
real
for that.
Scary. That actually is real scary. Trick shot. Tom, Maddie, we need your help on a super... Knuckles, do you mind?
Oh, excuse me.
Tom, Maddie, we need your help on a super dangerous top secret mission.
We're in.
He's the donut guy.
We were born ready.
All right, boys, try and keep up.
Come on, Granddaddy-O. We've got dirt to do. With Shadow's power, we can rule humanity. When we're done, there won't be anything left to rule.
That Keanu Reeves voice. Whoa.
Somebody better call Google Maps.
Life's
Sliced up
all
the
the
moon.
choices we make. Remember to listen to your heart. You're gonna make the right choice when it matters the most.
One hedgehog to another. Who does your highlights?
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
This ends now.
Our destiny
Is that
awaits.
Zod? Just kidding.
You were right about one thing. This ends now.
Hey. Christmas. It's a good way to end it right there. I'm telling you what. I mean, these movies have been, I mean, who would have thunk it, guys? Who would have thunk it that we'd be here right now in 2024 going to be watching a third Sonic the Hedgehog movie that's most likely going to be probably successful too. Hopefully it will. I mean, the other two were successful, and especially after we saw that first image of the live-action Sonic, and everybody lost their minds. I think a lot of us just thought it was going to be dead. It's going to be dead after that. But then they redid it and put it out there, and it was a hit. And the second one ended up being a hit. And I think a lot of it has to do with Jim Carrey also being the villain and being him, because It's Jim Carrey doing like 90s Jim Carrey. And I think that's how I kind of like sell it to people. I'm like, hey, you remember how Jim Carrey was in like the 90s coming in the 2000s? Well, that's who he's playing. He's that Jim Carrey. And now we got 2 Jim Carreys in this. So yeah, it looks really good. That looks really good. And you got Keanu Reeves voicing Shadow, which you can't, love hearing that voice. So yeah, that looks good. I'll be seeing it. Man, I'm just got to find, everything's just coming out like, jeez. Everything's coming out during Christmas. Too many things coming out during Christmas. All right, we have the Glicked box office. That's right, Glicked is what people decided what this last weekend was going to be when it came to Gladiator and Wicked coming out. And a lot of great responses coming out of people posting on social media. We read the reviews and everything like that. So who won the box office? I think we all knew who was going to win the box office. It was going to be The Witches. Wicked, of course, got $112.5 million at the domestic box office, $55 million for Gladiator 2. Overall, we got a $50 million international box office return, $162.5 for The Witches. Gladiator 2. Now, Gladiator 2 had a little bit of a head start when it came to international box office, as it internationally came out last week, but right now, it currently sits at $220.5 million. So that's good. It's good to see that. People were going out to the movies. I know, like the Gladiator box office, apparently that budget got inflated, according to what we heard. Heard it got over to like $350 million. Initially, it was like a $250 million budget, so it still has some work to do. Not sure what the Wicked budget is, but the Wicked budget was probably pretty big because a lot of people didn't know that it was part 1. There's going to be another Wicked movie that's going to be coming out next year. I don't think they filmed them both at the same time. It doesn't sound like they did. Maybe they did. I don't know. I don't really know much about this movie because it just didn't grab my interest. But seeing everybody's reaction, maybe I should give it a shot. Maybe I will. I'll sing along at home with the songs with Ariana Grande. So Wicked won. No, Wicked did win. Wicked won, but overall box office, Gladiator 2 is winning. But, that's overall, who cares? It was all about the weekend, I guess you could say. So Wicked won the weekend, the Glicked weekend. But Gladiator 2 has more box office turn because it got a week head start. If you want to put it like that. Anyways. All right. Now, let's talk about, let me see. Boop, boop, boop. Let me pull up because, man, again, we got Dune Prophecy. Anybody watching Dune Prophecy? Seems like there's not really a lot of hype or buzz out there, right? It's not how it was, when the Penguin came out and everybody was like buzzing about like, oh yeah, tonight's a new episode. What happened tonight? Everybody was talking about it. Not really seeing too many people talk about Dune Prophecy. Not sure if it really captured a lot of people's interest for that first episode. I saw some negativity out there, of course, but you guys saw you guys heard me talk about it last week, and starts off a little slow, really establishes a lot of things. It is missing that Villeneuve kind of touch to it. No Hans Zimmer score. It is kind of missing things, but for the most part, got interested in the story, especially with the last 4 minutes of last week's episode. And yeah, it just seems like, a lot of people are just not really are sleeping on it. It sucks because, the Dune movies are great. The Dune lore is great. And to be honest, I'm still enjoying it. And after this episode 2, still wondering what's going to happen because this Desmond Hart character who showed up, who's like this random soldier who's played by Travis Fimmel, who was in Raised by Wolves. He was in that Vikings movie. He has that look. To him where it's like, all right, this guy's shady and this guy looks like he will kill me if I just... And he's got some interesting... Because what happens last week, he's got some interesting abilities that came forth that really set this whole thing up because he ended up, using some abilities to kill a couple of people. And now we got, I forgot which Atreides he is. What's his name? There's an Atreides in here, which is supposed to be Paul's like great-great-grandfather or something like that. We got a Duke Atreides here. I'm not seeing his name listed right here. But you got Sister Superior, of course, who is trying to get somebody from the Sisterhood on the throne. And of course, this dude, this Desmond Hart guy, is fucking all that up. And with his little abilities. And then of course you got Mark Strong, who's the Emperor on where they're at right now, Emperor Carino, who is kind of playing both sides. So there's some interesting drama that's going on here. And then, I'm not saying it's all just crazy stuff, like where I'm like, oh my God, you guys got to watch it. But it's interesting enough where I'm going, all right, I'm going to continue on. Kind of curious of what's going on here. Where'd this dude come from? What abilities he has? And the fact that he's taking on this sisterhood right here. And making, Sister Superior kind of shit her pants a little bit. This is what happened at the end. He kind of showed off something like, oh yeah, you're gonna try to fuck with me? I'll fuck with you right back. So it's interesting. But don't worry, I'm not putting any spoilers. I'm just saying that there's some interesting things that happen in there. So yeah, but it just seems like there's not really much hype there. But it's fine. Hopefully, maybe it'll find an audience. Who knows? All right, then. Let's go ahead and see some Twitter questions. And like I said, guys, when it comes to a Wednesday show, we're going to play it by ear because it's going to be a slow news week. I don't imagine that there's going to be a lot of news to be coming out. I mean, the only thing I can think about talking about on Wednesday right as of now is the Moana 2 reviews, because I talk about the reviews for the upcoming movie, and that movie's going to make some money over the holiday weekend, of course. I think it's already projected to just blow up the box office, which it totally makes sense. Still don't understand why they're already doing a live action, but hey, that's just Disney for you. They're just like, we gotta get on it. But, yeah, so I don't know. So we'll see what happens. If things come about, maybe I'll do a show. We'll see what happens. But, right, like I said, yeah, and you never know. But if there's some crazy stuff that comes out, we'll do a show. Like I said, Scott and I are still going to do a Fanimated stream. It's not like I'm going anywhere or anything like that. I just figured, it's going to be a slow week. Might take Wednesday off when it comes to Film Junkee Live. So we shall see. Okay. All right. Let's see what's going on over here in the Twitter sphere, or the X sphere, whatever you want to call it. We got Mr. Nobody. I think Gunn's Superman will be somewhere between Man of Steel and Superman Returns, semi-serious. What do you think about Superman cracking jokes? I don't mind it. It's not like he hasn't done that before. There's nothing wrong with cracking some jokes. Personally, I mean, even Cavill was not, it wasn't like he was serious the whole time. I mean, there's some people out there that said he never smiled. The hyperbole that we get from fandom is just so fucking dumb. Personally, if it's here and there, I don't mind. I just don't want to be too jokesy. Everything needs a balance. Yeah, I always said, I said he needs to find a balance between Man of Steel and Superman the Animated Series. That, or just find a balance between Donner, Superman, and so we're talking about the same thing. Lane, Dave, did you get to watch We Live in Time starring Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh Pew Pew? I haven't yet, but I heard good things. So that might be, like I said, I'm going to have 5 days off, and of course I'm going to be doing some family and friends get-togethers that are going to be happening, but but I do want to catch up on some movies, so I'll probably put this one on the list because I keep hearing good things. I think it's on Netflix, right? If not, you should really watch it. Andrew and Florence, yeah, and I love them both. They're both great actors, so yeah, I'll put that on the list for sure. Eric, hey Dave, got the Steelbook of Eli Roth's Thanksgiving and saw it for the first time Friday nights. Love the humor throughout, and the characters aren't stereotypically stupid. That's good. I recall you said you hadn't seen it yet. Looking forward to your own thoughts. Yeah, if I'm going to do some Thanksgiving watches. You got to watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, right? That's always that's when it comes to Thanksgiving, you got to watch that. And I haven't watched Thanksgiving yet. I think this is on Netflix as well, so I'll give it a watch over my extended weekend. Adrian Woodbanks, on terms of the new DCU, do you think the Justice League film will actually be called Justice League Frontier? No, I doubt it'll be called that. or just direct inspiration from it. I think it's just going to be inspiration from it. I mean, Gunn said, like, you know, that whole thing, you know, when it came to DC Frontier, he said that was like an inspiration for the entire DCU. So, who's your favorite Green Lantern? You know, I'm a Hal Jordan. I'm old school. I'm a Hal Jordan. I like Hal Jordan. You know, but I don't mind any of them. I mean, I got into Baz and Jessica, what's her name? Jesus Christ. I totally forget her fucking last name. Cruz. When Rebirth came out, I got into their stories a little bit. So, Darkness Under the Wind. Dave, question 1. When Joker and Riddler likely break out of Arkham, setting them up as the villains in the Batman Part 3, do you see Riddler being much more dangerous than before? Should Joker teach him how to be more calculating? He probably will be more dangerous than before. I would imagine that. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see their dynamic, especially after that last scene with Joker talking to him through the cell. It's going to be interesting. Question 2, if the Star Wars franchise doesn't expand with different time periods, again, after what happened with the Acolyte, then it is dead once the Mandoverse and Andor end, and not willing to go to the Old Republic route. Yeah, they really need to figure all that stuff out. I don't know. I mean, we're always going to have Star Wars, but somebody needs to go in there and figure some shit out. But you know, at least they have like the Andor and Mondo stuff. Question 3, when we get the Avengers vs. X-Men movie and the MCU reboot, would you want the story to be adapted from the comics, or let them come up with something different than the comics? Well, just like with everything else, it's like, you know, pull some inspiration from it, but don't be a direct adaptation. I think we all appreciate it when filmmakers do that, and we've seen that all throughout comic book movies where they pull inspiration from different books. Devin Wooter, hey Dave, I just watched Brooklyn's Finest, incredible movie. Do you have a favorite scene? I don't think I saw Brooklyn's Finest. And do you think Wesley Snipes and Don Cheadle will reunite in Avengers: Secret Wars? Hey, there could be something that happens there. And Christopher Nolan's new movie has an incredible cast. I don't know how he does it. It's because he's Christopher freaking Nolan, man. It's because he's the GOAT. He established himself as the GOAT. You know, and then especially now when when we went through this whole big, huge superhero like era in the 2010s, and now it's just kind of like, all right, yeah, there is some fatigue. Now, I don't care what anybody says, but I think we're just all craving like, let's just get some original stories. Let's not keep on going with the formula and everything. And when it comes to Christopher Nolan, he just when they announce a movie and they announce a date, people get excited. We don't even know what the fucking movie is, and we're excited. And it's almost like, God damn, I really wish that more directors, there'd be things like this with more directors. Like when they announced like the new Steven Spielberg movie, I wish they didn't announce what the hell that was. Just start announcing the cast. What the hell is this Steven Spielberg movie? But we already know it's supposed to be some UFO type of movie. You already know what's going on with that. Even with Zack, I wish they would just be like, oh, his next movie is going to be something more grounded. And then they just say that's it. And then they start casting. We don't know what it is. Oh, and then we find out it's an LAPD action thriller. It'd be kind of cool if they kept it a secret. They kept, when it came to some of these really named directors, they keep whatever their next film is more of a secret, just to keep people going like, what the hell is this movie? What's happening? But I think with Christopher Nolan, where people just rushing to work with him, and look at this cast, and we still don't know what the fuck this movie is. It's just really cool. It's just really awesome that is happening still. When we're in this era of reboots and adaptations and still superhero movies and stuff like that. It's just nice that Christopher Nolan just has that. He just has that aura, I guess you could say, where people just see his name, they see a date, and they already have a ticket. There's already a ticket. I already have a ticket. So, anyways. All right, guys. Thank you guys for spending some time with me. Always fun. Always great. Talking movie stuff and everything with you. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like, thumbs up before you leave. Do all that. Like I said, we'll play Wednesday by ear. If things happen in the next 2 days, I'll do a show. But as of right now, with the holiday week, I'm probably going to be like, nah, we won't do one. We won't do a Film Junkie Live on Wednesday. Still going to do a Vodka Stream on Friday, though. Still be doing a Vodka Stream on Friday. Still be doing a DC Fanimated on Wednesday. But we'll see what the movie news is like this week. And, yeah, we'll check it out. So, you guys are awesome. And if I don't see you guys, well, if I don't see you guys till Friday, then have a good Thanksgiving. Eat a lot of food. I can't wait to stuff my face with all the fixins and everything at Mama Film Junkie's house. So, all right, guys. See you possibly Wednesday. If not, see you Friday. All right, guys. Love you. Talk to you later.